Start करें? Please start.
Inaugural ceremony of the first Indo-Russian International Symposium on Tribological aspects of smart materials and adaptive coatings for space and industrial applications. Problems in Mechanics, Russian Academy of Science. The Faculty Development Program is to provide a technical platform that encourages scientific research and educational activities to cater to the needs of the scientific community and industry. We welcome our guests with the traditional Isbin songs.
So everything will be okay. Huh? If you come here, everything will be okay.
Yeah, everything. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. And good morning to all of you. I welcome all the delegates, especially to our chief guest, Professor Shikina, Avantipura, JNK. I also welcome Professor Rakesh Sehgal, who is patron of this symposium, Professor Irina Gorocheva, I welcome my guest of honor, Professor Vasu Kailash, Satish Vasu Kailash from IIC Bangalore. The second guest of honor, Engineer Abdul Rashid Dar, who is Chief Engineer, Mechanical Engineering Department, UT J&K. My registrar, Professor Saeed Kaisar Bukhari. Symposium coordinator, Professor Ivan Soldenko. Symposium coordinator, Dr. Alimira Mesecherokova. Head Mechanical Engineering Department, Professor Sheikh Nazir Ahmad. Symposium chair, Dr. Shahid Salim. My institute deans, heads of departments, colleagues from administration, colleagues from other departments, heads of centers, and above all, my participants in the audience. I again welcome you to this first international symposium, which is jointly organized by National Institute of Technology and Russian Academy of Science. I am thankful to all who participated and who gave us a valuable time by sitting on the dais and in the audience. Now, I will say brief about this symposium. We know from the sketches of Leonardo da Vinci to the molecular dynamics create fire to the coatings at 1000 degrees Celsius. From column friction to the seismogenic zone friction caused by unstable slip, resulting in earthquake. In this symposium, the challenges faced by engineers and designers in space technology will be discussed to find appropriate solutions. Now, focus of the topic will be to cover low Earth orbit, which is up to 2000 kilometers, and where the pressure exists in Celsius. Jet aircrafts, International Space Stations, Hubble Space Telescopes, popular orbiting satellites, sun synchronized satellites are facing this atmosphere, and the tribology and the mechanical engineers have to find a solution to overcome the problems which mechanical components and systems are facing in this orbit. Second comes the middle Earth orbit, which covers from 2000 to 3,586 kilometers, where again the pressure is low and temperature is minus 27 degrees centigrade. Then, which are the machines which face this atmosphere? This is GPS satellites, semi-synchronous orbit. Then there is a high Earth orbit, which covers above 35786 kilometers onwards. Now, in this case, the geosynchronous and geostationary satellites forming boundary between MEO and LEO face the atmosphere, face the challenge, face the system atmosphere, and the bearings, the robots which are placed into space are failing, and the solutions are typical, and the solutions are that we have to find a solution to the adaptive solutions which can adapt in any atmosphere on the moon. The typical problems which our robots and other machinery face on the moon are much more typical than this. So much typical is low temperature, which is low Earth orbit, say 12 degrees Celsius, then the cryogenic temperature, and I don't think much problem is with the high temperature. So with this thing in mind, We have a project with the Russian collaboration, Russian Academy of Science, and Professor Gorachiva, who is a Tribology gold medalist in 2009, if I am correct. Uh, we are pleased to have here and to learn from them because they have advanced a lot in the space and in the providing solutions to the space tribology and to the space problems. Now, tribology laboratory, mechanical engineering department, NIT Srinagar, in collaboration with Ishlinsky Institute of Problems in Mechanics, holiday international symposium on tribological aspects of smart materials and adaptive coatings for space industrial applications. The initiative is aimed at bringing together the researchers, scientists, technocrats, and practicing engineers to discuss and address the issue related to development and characterization of smart materials and adaptive coatings for space and industrial applications. The symposium will focus on fabrication, modeling, characterization of materials at micro and nano-scale level, CMCs, MMCs, micro nano tech coatings. In addition to this, practical sessions will be held which will provide hands-on experience on to the participants on the latest equipment in the field of fabrication of CMCs, MMCs, nano coatings, composite coatings, self-lubricating coatings, etc. Eminent experts from academia and industry will deliver keynote addresses, plenary lectures, expert lectures on below mentioned topics related to space tribology, nano indentation, ceramic tribology, modeling of self-lubricating materials, nano-scale surface dynamic processes, nano-tribology, tribology in aqueous environment, high-temperature tribology, nano-lubrication, solid lubrication, tribological testing and characterization. We had some speakers from some countries from Europe and USA, but unfortunately they were given a last minute note that they should not participate in this institute because of the geopolitics which is going presently in our region. So I should not, but we have still covered our best and we have got the best experts, especially our Russian counterpart, who are well known in the modeling of the tribology. With these words, I again welcome all the people who are on dais and who are in the audience before me, my students and my faculty of mechanical engineering department, and all the people who have coordinated in making this event possible through their hard work. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Professor Rakesh Sehgal, Honorable Director, National Institute of Technology, Srinagar, to felicitate Chief Guest Professor Shakil Ahmed Ramsu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Islamic University of Science and Technology, Avantipura. Now, I would request Honorable Director, sir, to felicitate Guest of Honor, Professor Satish Vasu Kailas, Professor Mechanical Engineering Department, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. I would again request Honorable Director, sir, to felicitate Guest of Honor, I now have the privilege to request Professor M.F. Wani, Symposium Chair, to felicitate Honorable Director, National Institute of Technology, Srinagar, Professor Rakesh Sehgal. I will request Professor M.F. Wani now to felicitate Professor Irina Goryacheva, Symposium Chair, and Professor at Ishlinsky Institute for Problems in Mechanics, Russian Academy of Science. I would now request Professor M.F. Wani to felicitate Professor Syed Kesar Bukhari, Registrar, National Institute of Technology, Srinagar. I request Professor Syed Kesar Bukhari to felicitate the Symposium Chair, Professor Ivan Soldachenkov, Professor Ishlinsky Institute for Problems in Mechanics, Russian Academy of Science. I request Professor Sheikh Nazir Ahmed, Head of Department, Mechanical Engineering Department, to felicitate Professor Almira Mishriakova. Now, I request Professor Syed Kesar Bukhari to felicitate Professor Sheikh Nazir Ahmed, Head of Department, Mechanical Engineering. I request Professor Syed Kesar Bukhari to felicitate the Symposium Chair, Professor M.F. Wani.
आइए तुम मन शुद्धि मन तू शुद्धि Thank you very much.
I now request Professor Sheikh Nazir Ahmed to felicitate Professor Shahid Salim, coordinator of the symposium. Now, I request our Honorable Registrar, Professor Syed Kaisar Bukhari, to address the attendees and share his views.
Professor Shakil Ahmad Ramshu, Vice Chancellor, Islamic University of Science and Technology, Chief Guest of the Functions. Professor Satish Vasu Kailash, Professor IISc Bangalore, Guest of Honor. Engineer Abdul Rashid Dar Saab, Chief Engineer, Mechanical Engineering Department, Guest of Honor. Professor Irina, Patron of the Program. Professor Ivan, Symposium Coordinator. Dr. Elmira, Symposium Coordinator. Professor Rakesh Saigal, Director NIT Srinagar. Madam Anju Saigal, Deans, Heads of the Departments, my faculty colleagues, and dear participants. A very good morning to all of you. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Professor M.F. Wani, who is always there to take forward the mission of tribology in the region of Kashmir. As I'm told that this is the first of its kind, that first Indo-Russian international seminar, symposium, and faculty development program being held at NIT Srinagar. As Professor Wani said, the title of the program is Tribological Aspects of Smart Materials and Adaptive Coatings for Space and Industrial Applications, which is being jointly organized by NIT Srinagar, SMBDU, and IIT Jammu in collaboration with Ishlinsky Institute for Problems in Mechanics, Russian Academy of Science, Russia. After the ceramic and composite materials, the era of smart materials has begun. Smart materials can change their behavior or their properties as per the change in the atmosphere or in response to external stimuli. These stimuli could be anything. It can be pressure, it can be force, it can be temperature, it can be stress. India and Russia are both in the forefront of space technology and also maintain a friendly relationship. Hence, the successful outcome of the project will provide a significant boost to the space program of both the collaborating countries and further strengthening the relationship between the two countries. Both teams complement each other well. As such, the project will aim to capitalize on the expertise of the faculty members and experimental facilities of both sides, India in coating tribology and Russia in space technology, for developing solutions to the problems of tribo systems used in space applications. We at NIT Srinagar have state-of-art facilities and world-class expertise for designing and developing the coatings and carry out the experimental investigations under the simulated space conditions, whereas the Russian team has expertise in the theoretical modeling of the tribological parameters of the coatings, so developed based on the experimental data. As you all are aware of the fact that NIT Srinagar has developed a Central Research Facility Center, and all credit goes to Professor Mohammad Farooq Wani for developing that lab, and it is one of the best labs in India. I may say one among the 5 best labs in India. At present, India is in the process of developing space vehicle and space shuttles in various missions. Tribo systems used in these vehicles are subjected to extreme environmental conditions at operational stage. For design and manufacturing of these tribo systems, smart materials are to be made available. After the successful completion of this project, smart coatings will be developed through mechanical and tribological testing under extreme conditions. Results obtained from these studies will be published in the reputed international journals, filing up patents. In addition, results obtained from these research studies will encourage India industries to set up joint ventures for development of materials for space and other applications. I hope the participants will be benefited during the course of this program, which is a 5 days duration. As I said, that Professor Vani has developed one of the best labs in our country, and state of equipment is there, and at least you will get a chance to have hands on these equipments. With these words, I once again congratulate Professor Vani for taking this initiative, for collaborating with the Russian counterparts, for organizing such a wonderful symposium and faculty development program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Professor Rakesh Sehgal, Honorable Director, National Institute of Technology, Srinagar, to address the symposium.
Professor Shakil Ahmed Ramsu, chief guest of the inaugural ceremony of the first Indo-Russian International Symposium on Tribological aspects of smart materials and adaptive coatings for space and industrial applications. Guests of honor, Professor Satish Vasu Kailas, professor from IIC Bangalore, a well-known tribologist. Engineer Abdul Rashid Dar, Chief Engineer, Mechanical Engineering Department, Government of Jammu and Kashmir. Professor Irina Gorecheva from Ishlinsky Institute for Problems in Mechanics, Russia. Professor M.F. Vani, Symposium Chair and Dean Research and Consultancy, NIT Srinagar. Professor Kaisar Bukhari, Registrar, NIT Srinagar. My colleagues, deans, head of the departments, head of the centers, staff members, participants from different organizations of the country, professionals from press and media, a very good morning, Assalamu alaikum, and adab to all of you. I, on behalf of NIT Srinagar family, extend a very hearty and warm welcome to all the dignitaries and participants to this international symposium which NIT Srinagar, IIT Jammu, Shri Mata Vaishno Devi University Katra is organizing in collaboration with Ishlinsky Institute for Problems in Mechanics, Russia. India, being a large nation and developing economy, is progressing fast in education, agriculture, infrastructure, industry and space sector, and has a vision to figure in the category of developed nations by 2047. This was announced by our Honorable Prime Minister a few days back. Just 3 days back, on 30th September, our Honorable Prime Minister launched 5G technology, thus adding our country in the list of first 5 nations to develop and use 5G technology. Space missions are important to not only explore the unknown, but also launch the satellites for facilitating communication to transfer the data at a fast rate for various applications. Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, is working on a mission mode to fulfill this aspiration of the citizens of India and has already achieved many milestones in this area. We have seen over past few years, ISRO has launched many satellites, even the mission Mangalyaan was successful. During such space missions, the rockets or the launch vehicles undergo normal to cryogenic to very high temperatures ranging from minus 180 degrees Celsius to 1000 degrees Celsius, as well as dry, humid, and vacuum environments. Therefore, the structural and machine components of these space vehicles should be able to sustain such conditions, and hence there is a dire need to develop suitable materials and coatings which could sustain such conditions. Thus, it is the duty of all the institutions and research organizations to undertake research in this area and extend a helping hand to ISRO and DRDO, the premier research organizations of our country, in developing the relevant technologies for space missions and other applications. Under one such initiative, NIT Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir has been chosen by Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi, to work on a project with Ishlinsky Institute of Problems in Mechanics, Russia, to develop smart materials and coatings for space applications so that ISRO, DST, and Roscosmos, the Russian state space corporation responsible for space flights, cosmonautics programs, and aerospace research, could be benefited. Further, to disseminate the information about the available technologies for the development and issues related to adhesion, friction, and wear of such smart materials and adaptive coatings among our teaching, research, and industry community, this 5-day symposium is a well thought of initiative. I would like to congratulate Professor M.F. Vani and his entire team for working on this initiative. I'm sure that this symposium will not only provide a platform to all of us to learn from the research experience of learned experts, but will also provide an opportunity to collaborate with each other at various levels to further research in these niche areas. At the end, I would like to welcome you all once again and thank our Russian collaborators and experts for agreeing to visit NIT Srinagar and share their knowledge. Wishing all the participants a very happy learning experience. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
May I now request Professor Irina Goryacheva, academician of Russian Academy of Science, to share her thoughts and views about this symposium.
Dear colleagues and friends, today we are. I would like to congratulate all of you with this very important event in our life, scientific life, opening of organization and participation, and this is the first Indo-Russian Symposium. All of you, of course, know that tribology is a very important science. And if we need to save materials, we try to create the special coatings, we prevent the fracture, surface fracture, particular materials. If we would like to improve ecological situation, also we must think about lubricants and other special devices to improve the ecology. Also, tribology helps us to save energy. So tribology is very important science. And of course, such the huge application of tribological achievements is the space devices and space engineering. Maybe you don't know, but in Russia there is a Tribology society, and this society was organized in 1965 when academician Sergei Korolev, who creates the first Russian Sputniks, he had the problem with friction in vacuum. And he asks scientists and particular engineers in engineer science to solve this problem. And this problem, as you know, was solved, but now we have new tasks to think and to develop our tribology. So I again congratulate. First, I would like to thank organizers, particularly Professor Vali, for organization of this first Indo-Russian Symposium. I hope and I believe that this is first, but there will be second, third, and etc. And we will collaborate. We will be friends and will solve many interesting and important problems for our countries, and in particular for space engineering. So I wish you the best success in your research, the good presentations, good lectures, and very successful discussions. So let's start the work, to think, to discuss, and to be friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I request our guest of honor, Engineer Abdul Rashid Dar, to address the duties and share his views.
Worthy Chief Guest, Professor Ramshu, Director, National Institute of Technology, Rakesh Sahgal, the guest of honor, Professor Kailash, Head of the Tribological Department here, Professor Vani, and all the esteemed guests who have been invited to today's this symposium, and all the invitees, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. It is a huge thing from being graduated as an engineering student from this very institution. I have come to address the symposium of my alma mater today. It is very heartening to see this, my alma mater, progress, hold symposiums, get better recognition, restore its previous glory. It is really for every student who has come out of this institution, it is such a huge thing to see this institution progressing and dealing with the frontiers of technology for the society, for the people. Really great. Though this the symposium is about the tribological aspects of space and aerospace, as a field engineer, it is very good to know that as state-of-the-art tribological lab has been developed in this institution, which can come so handy to the problems we are facing immediately in the field. I have come from space right here on the ground that we have a problem that being a northern state of India, we have 5-6 snowfalls in a year here, and the primary responsibility of opening the arteries of communication, that is roads, from the very first snowfall, it is left to my department. And we have a problem that we invest hundreds of crores in roads here. And then when it comes to snow clearance, it is mostly blamed that snow clearance has led to the damage of roads. So the problem that tribological, these luminaries of this department I want them to confront with this problem, to come up with such materials which they have all the basically we career. I will just try to elaborate on this aspect. Is this that snow clearance here, just like even in Russia, it is done with snow plows or snow blowers. The snow plows are at the cutting edge, that in their interface with the road is we are placing metal plates called scrapers or cutting edges. Instead of that, in Russia, what I have come to see how snow clearance is done in Europe and in America, they use adaptive materials, mostly plastics, rubbers, which have all the qualities of steel, tensile strength, abrasion resistance, but at the same time, they don't cause any damage to the roads. They are more elastic materials, they don't create that noise. So hundreds of crores that are invested into our roads are saved from this problem. So it is, I hope Vanisa will take it very seriously. He will come up with, and in collaboration, with cooperation with Mechanical Engineering Department of the J&K, we will try to find out some solution to this problem. It is really good to see all these beautiful developments taking place. Thank you very much.
So thank you for your inspiring words. It's our privilege to have Professor Satish Vasu Kailash as our guest of honor. Professor Satish has done his PhD from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He is currently the senior professor at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Sir, please.
So thank you. What's your good name, madam? Fulan. Safura, yes. I think all the speakers before me kept on repeating the names of the people there, so I don't want to repeat it because it will become like a bhajan for you people in the evening. So let us not do that. The only person I have to thank here is my friend, Professor Vani. He has always been kind to me.
No. Please, you are kind to us.
He's invited me here. The only thing is he's been asking me to get my wife here for this thing, but I have not been able to do that. Next time I will do it, sir. Okay, so that is why I have not visited any place in Srinagar or Kashmir, so that when she comes I can see with her. Now coming to this wonderful symposium on tribology, just now our Dar sir told about the tribological problem faced in snow clearance. It is not a small issue. But I would like to warn you, sir, tribology is expensive. Experimentation is expensive. That is where one of the problems comes, When you say money, people say 10 rupees will give. Well, give us 1,000 rupees, means they say 10 rupees. So it becomes like a Palika Bazaar in Delhi bargaining, You start with 100 rupees and say, 10 rupees dunga, take a little. Then you realize 10 rupees was too expensive. So I'll give you an example. Recently, we developed a tribometer where I asked my student to design it. And the first machine he is designing in his life. And then very frightening. He was scared to ask me. I asked how much budget you want. He was very scared to ask me, sir, I want 40,000 rupees. I told, what will you do with 40,000? And then I made a small brief calculation for him, and the cost came to around 17 lakhs. I told, this is how you make the budgeting. If you want to make a world-class equipment, you need to have world-class budgeting. Of course, we found the money for that. There are kind people who will still listen to me and believe that I will contribute in tribology. And they gave the money, so we are building that equipment. So it's pretty expensive. One, if you are game, I'll also join the thing without any. I don't want any papers or anything.
I am called the thief of stealing money from India and bringing tribology here.
Thief of or thief?
Thief of India.
Thief of India. Okay.
So I cannot say whether it is costly or not.
So it is. We will sit and do it. There's no problem. It is a doable thing. It is not a non-doable thing. And if something America can do, we can also do. Because how materials behave in America and here is same. Not suddenly Kashmir, the material properties will not change. So we can do it. It is not an issue. We will address it. But tribology is extremely important. I know if you read this news about Mangalyaan has finally run out of fuel, so it's come to a life, which is an excellent achievement because you remember these satellites are navigated using gyroscopes and momentum wheels. These are things that run at 7,000, anywhere between 3,000 to 7,000 RPM. For 8 years, it is run continuously without failure, which is a very good achievement by the tribologists of Indian space they have developed all these things indigenously. Previously, we used to import it, but now we have indigenously developed it. There was a time in my school, when they used to say that when Russians reach the moon, Indians reach Moscow. So that those days are gone now, and we are now much further, and we have reached Mars also. We have to reach moon also. We'll be doing all that, I think, soon. So it's tribology that plays a very critical role, and I'm happy that we have this wonderful symposium, especially with my Russian colleagues who have come all the way from the cold Moscow to hot Delhi to a cooler Srinagar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We are honored to have Professor Shakil Ahmed Ramshu as our honorable chief guest. Professor Shakil Ahmed Ramshu, Vice Chancellor, Islamic University of Science and Technology, has obtained his PhD in Water Resources Engineering from the University of Tokyo, Japan, and MS in Remote Sensing and Geographic Information System from the Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok, Thailand. Sir, may I request Professor Shakil Ahmed Ramshu to address the attendees and share your views.
Professor Rakesh Sagar, Director NIT, Professor Kailash, Engineer Abdul Rashid, Professor Irina from Russian Academy of Sciences, Professor Wani, Registrar of the Institute, heads of various departments, deans of various schools, faculty members, research scholars, young and bright students. A very good afternoon to all of you. I must thank the organizers for inviting me to be the chief guest at this first Indo-Russian Symposium. And I, at the same time, congratulate the organizers for organizing this symposium on a topic which is of very tremendous importance. You heard some of the ideas by the previous speakers, how it is linked to the, to various issues that we face, but I just briefly touched some of the issues, but I link it to, our national aspirations, the global challenges that we face. But I talk to, because I started my career working for the Japan Space Agency. And I know how important it is for the space science. In India, when we started the space program under Professor Sarabhai, and then if you look at the space program, a space satellite costs about, on an average, 500 to 600 crores. In 60s, you can imagine how bold the national government took this initiative that we need to, start a massive space program. And as of today, we are the 5th space power in the world. If you look at the number of satellites, if you look at the number of people that are working, and it is linked to many other things. Our national security, the PSLVs you see, the polarized satellite launch vehicles, the GSLVs you see, we have hardly any failures in the launching of the satellites. But You know, the life of a satellite is on an average 3 years. That's a big challenge. And that's how you can link it to the material science, the smart materials. Though from that traditionally we used to have 2-ton satellite, 1.5-ton satellite, we have mini satellites. I have visited some of the labs where I saw students making 10-kilogram satellites. From mega satellites to micro satellites and now mini satellites we have. But you know better than me what are the challenges in enhancing the life of the satellites. Whether it's just fueling the energy of the satellite, the solar panels, the antennas, if you look at the microwave satellites. But I don't want to go into that field. So looking at the program, I think you will be deliberating on that. But I want to take you to some other things which is very close to my heart. That's what I'm researching. So I find a very strong connect between the theme of the symposium and global challenges and the national aspirations. We aspire to be the second economic power of the world. We aspire to be the fourth science power of the world. And if you highlight the 10 of the major challenges of the world, 5 are related to the environment. And the major challenge that we face is the climate change. That's what I have been researching when I returned back to Kashmir for the last 20 years now. Our Prime Minister made a bold commitment to the international community. He said India will be carbon neutral by 2070. What does it mean? We are using 85% of our energy comes from the non-renewable, dirty energy, coal. And we are saying that just 10 years from now, 50% of our energy will be non-renewable energy. And as I said, that almost 80%, 75% of our greenhouse gas emissions come from the use of the non-renewable energy. So it is a big challenge. In next 10 years, it is projected that there will be $8 billion. We need $8 billion investment in just making this, energy renewable from 50%. If we just, as of today, it is 85. If we reduce it to 50% renewable, so it will require $8 billion. And look at 2070 when we want to be carbon neutral. You can imagine it is just going to be hundreds of $1 billion, industry in India. And we are growing at very fast. If you look at the GDP, we are no more, poor country. So, but at the same time, you have to say that if you look at the average emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, India per capita emissions are almost twice the global average. Not as bad as China or America, but we are twice the global average. And this is a major challenge. I feel that we can't afford. Looking at 2070 commitment to the international community, looking at the way we want to grow, it can't be carbon intensive infrastructure development, because we will not be able to reach anywhere as far as our global commitments are concerned, as far as this short-term cost benefit analysis to the lifetime. If we invest into a road, few hundreds of crores, as Engineer Rashid was talking about, why don't we look on the long-term perspective? Now, if you look at the infrastructure, the second most important resource other than water we use is the concrete. So every person in India uses or consumes 3 tons of concrete every year. And the concrete and this infrastructure, the buildings, is the second major source for the greenhouse gases. 19%. Only the cement industry contributes to 80%, 8% of the greenhouse gases. So we need to have green technology, we need to have green buildings, and they will not be cost effective if you look at. But we know when we construct a house which is cost effective, look at the maintenance, look at the repairing cost, and look at the emissions that these environmental unfriendly infrastructure is generating and adding to the national commitments. So on one hand, we are committing that we'll be carbon neutral. Can we afford the current state of infrastructure development, which is based on cost effectiveness only? If we are looking at 100 years commitment to the international community under international instruments, which are binding on us, which are obligatory on us. So this thinking of looking at the cost effectiveness, I think that you will see a paradigm shift in the national infrastructure and economic development planning in this. And many countries in the world are looking up to India to develop such type of a program so that it can, because the current infrastructure development, the costs of maintenance and repairs are spiraling. And there are, as Professor Kailash was saying, these are operational technologies, these are proved technologies. And when we say that we will be the second economic power of the world, China is going to be the first. We aspire to be the, by 2030 only, we say that we will be the 5th economic power of the world. I think until in our, infrastructure development, in our energy, consumption, unless and until we use state-of-art technologies, we really will not be reaching near to those, goals. I think when the whole life costs of infrastructure is concerned, roads, we talked about, the engineership talked about the roads, both in terms of carbon emissions and cost of repairs, maintenance, and renewal, the applications of materials, smart materials from concrete to photovoltaics and others, I think has a greater, I would say it is a great deal to offer. I think it is imperative for all of us, academicians, the institutes, to join hands to decarbonize the society. And as Vice Chancellor of the Islamic University of Science and Technology, we are very much aware of our role. Professor Rakesh Sehgal is on the academic council of my university, and a couple of weeks only, keeping in mind the futuristic requirements and aspirations of national aspirations, we already have put in place an Institute for Green Technology and Sustainable Energy, an Institute of Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning, an interdisciplinary institute for frontier sciences. So this is what we did, since last. And many of you may be aware of the Center for Excellence in Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development, which has 8 verticals under that. I think that's what, we have already established a Center for Sustainability and Climate Change, that in the last 1 year. I think it is very important for us, all the institutes all over the country, to rise to the occasion and, grab the initiatives, looking at the opportunities that there's a problem, but at the same time, it is an opportunity for us. With these words, I wish all of you a very productive proceedings. I join Rakesh Sehgal in wishing you the very productive proceedings of this two-day international symposium. 5-day international symposium. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir. May I now request our Head of Department, Professor Sheikh Nazir Ahmed, to give vote of thanks.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم I was myself stunned to listen many things about space program because I have worked myself for about 30 years in this field. I got my master's degree from IIT Madras in aerospace engineering, PhD from IIT Kanpur in aerospace, satellites, uh, antenna, dish control. One of my supervisors was telling that we cannot always work on hole in a plate and go for deflection, stress, strain, but we have to look about so many things in aerospace field, like as they have told that stealth technology. We always, in the world scenario of warfare, need to hide ourselves from enemy, from his radar. So stealth technology, which is very important, and it can be achieved only by coating our body with such materials which cannot be detected by our enemy. Thank you. So now I will be. It is my really honor and pleasure that the Department of Mechanical Engineering has adventured uh, this program, a symposium, and its pilot is Professor Amafani and his team in tribology, and he was the pioneer in this institution uh, to start the program on tribology with massive facilities for testing and analysis of materials, especially in the field of tribology. And especially, I will thank my class fellow, Engineer Rashid at Bachelor of Engineering level, who has been with me for 4 years here. We were batchmates. I went in teaching, he went to field. So I would like to thank the first of all chief guest, Professor Shakil Ahmed Ramshu, Vice Chancellor IUST Avantipur, who has shared a lot of experiences from Japan to India. And then guest of honor, Professor Satish Vasu Kailash, who is really a capable and a humorous professor in the field of tribology. He has delivered today morning lecture to us, and he has really, his lecture was really funny and wonderful. Then we have the guest of honor, Chief Engineer Abdul Rashid, my class fellow, Director Professor Rakesh Sehgal, who is also from the field of bearings, and we thank him for supporting and patronizing this event. Between this is also really great that we have a program today between a superpower of the world, that is Russia, and another growing superpower, India. So, and then I thank Registrar Professor Kaisar Bukhari, who is the custodian of the funds of this institution. So obviously nothing can be done without funds. Whole control lies with the registrar. As long as he is in tune with the program will go. Otherwise, it will be switched off. So then we have Russian delegates. So then we have the Russian delegates. You will excuse me for pronunciation. I may, Professor Irina Goryachiva, Dr. Ivan Soldatenko, Dr. Elmira Mecheshirvakova. You will excuse me for, we will not be able to pronounce properly. And I thank to Central Research Facility here in NIT Srinagar, all the faculty and staff of mechanical engineering. who have worked hard day and night for making this inaugural session. Yet we are inaugurating, we are not completing. When we will be completing, then we will see what are the achievements, what are the outcomes, and what are so many things about the program. So we are thanking all these dignitaries and this staff of the institution for inaugurating this event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request all the honorable dignitaries, guests, and respected participants to join us for the lunch at the Institute Guest House. Thank you. At 1:30.
Thank you.